do you have an idea that is sustainable and it's climate friendly and you want to launch this idea? Do you know if it's a beauty product or it's a clothing brand? I think we have the solution. I have an entrepreneur coming today and she is building a beauty product that is sustainable, and she builds it herself and it's completely organic in nature. So let's learn from Radhika Dang how she has done this, and she's 30 under 30 and she's an amazing woman herself, beautiful smile, and we can learn more in terms of how sustainability plays its role in this whole situation, because let's face it, we are in the situation where we need sustainable products to save our climate, to save the earth planet. So keep watching and stay tuned. And this is Anjali and welcome back to Fem Stories. Like I said, today we have a very exciting topic: media production, content creation, storytelling, which is another mission of Fem Stories in terms of telling the vibrant and impactful stories to our women entrepreneurs and the overall viewers as well. I mean, like I said, there was this Tej event lately in my community, and I did not go. I was not able to attend the event because of other commitment, but I did see the stories and pictures on my WhatsApp. Now, one thing that really stayed with me or that really touched me was one of the very interesting video of, a woman like my mom, 75 or 70-year-old. She was completely decked up, nicely, very sober and simple. She was dancing with her friends. She was, making she was making most of the Tej event as opposed to anybody else. That touched me and that just made me so happy. Such a cute moment that was. And that's the impact of a story. That's an impact of a media production, or that's an impact of a content. And in today's time, that's where we are heading to. I mean, if the Instagram platforms and the story and the media platforms are being leveraged used by the entire gamut of the age groups, not by the kids, but by every age group. And that was a moment that defined all of that for me. So today we have an exciting entrepreneur with us. She has so many, she's a CEO and founder of a company called Good Karma. She has learned to make personalized beauty products, and they're sustainable, they feel good. There's a sensory a satisfaction attached to it. She has an amazing media career as well. She has worked for National Geographic Channel, Fox Entertainment. We have an amazing, beautiful Radhika Dang today. Welcome, Radhika. Welcome to Fam Stories. And thank you for accepting to be here and sharing your story with our viewers and with me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was rather lovely.
I made it dramatic. Well, I hope I did do any justice to your introduction and to just tell a little bit of a tad bit story to our viewers. But I think now focus on you. We'll learn more from your perspective, from what you have done so far. How did Good Karma come into inception or conception, and what made you think to get into this venture, and also about your media career. This is both are so powerful mediums at this point in time: beauty products and making a business out of it versus a media production, with all these big brand names. So tell us all.
So I actually began my journey as a TV producer, director in the non-fiction space.
Nice.
I think ever since I was small, I was really fascinated by travel shows and food shows.
I'm still fascinated. It actually gives you a larger than life kind of a picture in your mind. Oh my God, how does it feel to be with the elephants in the jungle?
So true.
How does it feel to be in front of the Hawaii beach? I've been to Hawaii several times, but it just, sitting on a couch and being there virtually is amazing. And now we have AR, VR technology to be actually there, which is also another technology that's coming up. But then, it's a fascination. Sorry to digress.
Bang on. I think I really had that same fascination
Yes.
in my heart. And, as a kid, I would read the National Geographic magazine, and I would just be fascinated by all the stories and the adventures. And then little did I know that I really got a chance later on in life to work with the group, with the channel,
Nice.
and be a part of some of the most celebrated Indian shows.
Yes.
Which are now on, some of them are on Netflix, some of them are on Fox and Nat Geo. Actually, one of the shows that I was working on, it was for a London-based channel.
Yeah.
And it was on Ayurveda and beauty. So the concept was really going to the backwaters of Kerala and
Beautiful.
really digging up, some of the ancient wisdom.
Yes.
And seeing how one could apply that to our modern lives.
Nice.
So it was an interesting concept, and I thought that there's no ready literature. So I need to go there, stay there for a couple of months, understand, what are the principles and what are some of the recipes or formulations that we've been using, and how do I kind of twist it and kind of fit it into the modern setups. To give you an example, you may have some very beautiful oils, but nobody's really going to put those oils, in a daily way. But how do I make maybe a lip balm out of it? Or how do I make like a body wash out of it?
So do you actually make beauty products with the core essential raw stuff?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Did you learn this, or how did this happen?
So I think at the onset, it started with that one show and me going to Kerala, studying it, curating over 120 recipes on different topics. The show went out fabulously well. And when I came back, I thought, okay, maybe, I should just start sharing these nuggets of information, because I found them personally so interesting. And I thought maybe people would like to know about them.
Yeah.
And I started sharing these recipes freely on, through blogs, through Facebook. Communities were really popular back then in 2011, 2013. So I started sharing them.
It's actually quite back then. I mean, we are so moving faster. 2011 sounded like obsolete to me. It's crazy, but it's true.
Technology is moving at such a rapid pace.
True.
That is so true.
Oh God, it was funny. Okay.
So these comments, like these posts picked a lot of traction. Like I would get on each post like 500 comments of people like just talking about
huge traction.
Yeah, huge traction. And little did I know that, I would have like a swarm of people coming to my home asking me to like, I would make some things fresh for them, give it to them.
So your product market fit was happening organically.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't actually get an idea in your mind and then you went to the market to get to see the MVP or get to the stage of MVP and get the product market fit research. Yeah. It already happened for you organically. Actually, okay, great.
It was a lot of heart that I was putting into it, and I would say very little mind or brain in terms of what is the right packaging, what should be the right price point, what are the channels I should market from. So none of that. It was just like, okay, I'm sharing something, people are liking it, they want to come and try it, and every weekend we would have like at least 30-40 people who would just come. And my mom and my father were there, so they became like a part of it, and we would be like serving tea and like making them try products.
It's like a party going on every weekend.
And I remember I was doing products like lotion bars. Now lotion bar at that time nobody was doing, but I thought it was interesting, so we were doing lotion bars, we were doing body butters, we were doing completely organic lip balms with rose petals and things like that.
Very
and then
nice.
We would macerate our own oils. Maceration is nothing but infusing the oil with herbs over a period of time and heating it to a specific temperature, again for a couple of weeks before all the phytonutrients get absorbed in the oil, and the oil also it becomes really aromatic.
This sounds amazing. I mean, I am all about organic stuff. I mean, in US, I've lived in US for most of my the middle age or the previous 16 years, and I've used like Bed Body and Bath and Beyond and all the other key organic outlets, and it has been amazing. And the aroma, and I mean what I've learned is when there is no aroma, there is no smell, it's better. So, it's more organic, which is actually kind of, I don't know what to say, but and there's more perfume, there's more smell, then it's not as organic. It's very is that true?
So what you're saying is very true. Fragrances are not natural, but actually essential oils are.
Yeah.
So when you're creating an aroma through essential oils, it's really nice. It's really natural, but one needs to know the dermal limits of essential oils. So
Okay.
there's a little bit of science as
Yeah,
well. You've
yeah.
got to know before you actually put it.
Nice.
And
Did you learn this technical before you actually launched Good Karma? Because I think it's. I think it takes a knowledge. It takes a skill to be able to build the products, and then we get to selling part and the business part. So tell us more about that.
So, from 2014 to 2018 was just really homegrown. Then I decided to actually formally study skincare formulation. So, I'm also today a certified natural skincare formulator. I studied from the Formula Botanica school. And after studying formally, I said that, okay, now I would like to place a bet on myself and like probably quit my job,
So one show changed the life. So it is the entrepreneurship coming from that one show in Kerala.
Yeah,
That's the story. I get it.
You could totally say that. And,
Oh, wow.
over years of just seeing a lot of traction, a lot of encouragement, a lot of love from the community that we built. And then really deciding to take a plunge eventually.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, you were really happy kid with the media and the geographical fascination.
That was my dream job.
Yeah,
by the
but
way.
you never thought that entrepreneurship in the beauty products will actually happen. But that fascination led to this venture, and eventually you are now an entrepreneur and you're a founder of this amazing brand. Amazing. Now that's one story, right? That's an amazing story. I'm loving it. Because I don't know. I mean, I really don't know if this is a stroke of luck,
Yeah.
or if it's a very committed hard work and follow your passion and fascination that actually leads to your destiny, or is it something else? I don't know, but this is beautiful. I really like it.
It's funny when we look back and we connect the dots, everything seems like such like a fairy tale.
Yes, when you connect, you look back, which is only God knows, only He can connect the dots forward. We all are humans. We connect the dots backward. It makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. You're actually moving in the right direction. But it's so hard to predict that if this is going to work. So, I mean, for most of us, which are normal people, I'm giving you a stage higher because you're organically getting into the entrepreneurship, and then, your market product fit is happening every weekend, and you know that people want this. You know that people are really coming to you, and you're making this. You just invest your time and money to learn the skill, and then you eventually launch the product, which is a very fantastic journey, but not happens for most of us. Like for me, I will take that example. Like I own a digital marketing company because I've worked in Silicon Valley for 15 years in this area as a marketing operations and strategy person. And now in India, I own this company called The Musings. And I also run this podcast, which is my passion project. And but I also have a slight thought in my mind, at the back of my mind. It's a parking thought and I have so many ideas. The ideas are always sprouting, right? But doesn't matter unless you work on one idea and execute it to the bay. It doesn't matter. I mean, you can have, what is it called in India? Sheikh chilli ka pulao.
Absolutely.
है ना, वही बोलते हैं ना उसको, हाँ. So I'm just on a Sheikh Chili Ka Pulao wala stage right now. But I really want to take that plunge. But again, for me, the journey could be, okay, this is my deck. This is the product market fit, whether really actually people want it. What problem I'm trying to solve? What is the issue that I'm trying to solve? Because that's how I think. And whether it's going to be a D2C brand or a B2B, how is it going to fly off, and why and how? It's like too much. But I already have my own current business and other stuff going on. So I think it's on a back burner right now. But now I'm excited enough to ask these questions because this is the person sitting right in front of you who's really want to do something like that same thing. But I just don't know. And there are so many people sitting on the couch right now who might be like me, Yeah. So you might be an answer to so many such folks, including me. Now, the question is, where do you start?
I think for me, the approach would be start exactly where you are with exactly what you have. Because where you are at this point of time, you're already equipped with everything that you require to start, to begin. And like we were discussing, the journey is going to be so different, so magnificent. It's going to be full of ups and downs,
Yeah.
for sure. That's a given. But you cannot plan it on paper on day one.
You cannot. And like I said, Radhika, I mean, it is once you start, I mean, it's easy to say, it's easier said than done, by the way. We can start, right? But you think about the finances, right? How is it going to work after 6 months? Whether it's going to give any financial returns to me, and how much I am going to invest. And if I'm going to the investors, they're going to be equity share, and then there's a additional burden to get it back. And there's more skin in the game, more cooks in the kitchen, and it could be fun,
Yeah.
good learning ride for sure. But then you really need to get yourself out there, and there's an uncertainty around it. And what if it doesn't work? So there's an insecurity also. Uncertainties, insecurity already in the first minute. I've already told you my thoughts. And then the pricing pieces, right? If you think about it, in the country like India, or economy like India, or the mindset like we have, if it's under 1,000, it's good. If it's above 3,000, it's a premium product.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about the masses and everybody. But between 1 and 3 is also priced as expensive, right? So if you choose a clothing brand of a D2C, if you choose a beauty product, or if you choose a snack or a healthy snack or any major category, right? Fashion, there's a whole infographic you can see the best of D2C in India. The pricing is a real game.
Yeah.
It's so severe and strategic.
Yeah.
How do you come around? If you have a $200, if you 200 rupees product, what are you going to gain? What is going to be the gross margin? It's going to be funky dory game. So talk about pricing to me.
So India is a very price sensitive market,
Very,
as
very.
everyone would agree. And with the advent of social media, and the attention span of people has really gone down.
Absolutely.
And brand loyalty, I would say, massively suffered.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So you've got to build a way to engage people. Like you said, you're a storyteller.
Yeah.
Yeah. People are not just buying your product; they're buying into you, Anjali. They're buying into your story.
Yeah.
The big brands who are doing very well, over-the-counter brands, legacy brands, they are like established.
They're like
brands,
unicorns. They're
Yeah, they're
established.
unicorns. They're
They're like-
established. People would just buy the product. It would just sell by the brand name.
Yes.
But until you reach that place, people are going to buy into you. So you've got to be extremely authentic. What is the problem that you're solving? What is the approach that you're taking? I'm going to, like people, they're going to place their bet on you. Now, the reason I said I started from home, people didn't really understand my products. How did it start? It actually started with me just sharing my journey in a very
Right.
personal manner, and then also sharing the recipes or the formulations with it. But what really clicked with people was what I was writing, right? They could really relate to me as a person.
So again,
Radhika.
stories.
Yeah.
The stories, I mean, the more we write and more we talk, it comes down to the storytelling. This is where what we are doing on Fem Stories too, talking about the right stories that clicks. It makes and breaks everything.
Yeah.
And it has so much power in it.
Absolutely.
It has so much power in it. What you write, what you pen down, what you think, what you narrate, what you articulate has so much power in it. It has power to change things, the whole narrative. Amazing. It's beautiful. So how did you decide that how will you price your products now that you have done this journey? You understand today that okay, people want this could be a good product or good business venture. You go there, you get yourself equipped with your tools, your resources, your knowledge, and then you come back and you start this business, right? This is what I'm assuming that happened.
Yeah, absolutely. I went ahead and I studied formulation formally, and then I came back. I just put my nose in the lab and I said, okay, let's just really get the best kind of formulations out, basis what is the need of the hour.
Yeah.
Pricing, I think I was very clear from day one that some of my favorite brands, like, the brands that I would just keep revisiting every time, whether it was a Body Shop or whether. So I was like, okay, it's got to be easy on the pocket. Because if I'm asking you to buy my product for the first time, you are not going to really take a plunge because, there's
It
no
can't be 1,000
celebrity.
rupees.
Yeah, you're not going to do that.
So what was your price? in the
Sweet
beginning?
spot was 300, $400. Yeah.
So what was your gross margins there?
My gross margins were between 30 to 40%, and my
Okay.
net margin was about 10 to 15%.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not a bad start.
Yeah, it was not a bad start.
No,
and
absolutely
especially for a very lean team, just working on it, it just really gave us enough ammo to keep going.
Yeah.
But like I going back to the story where I started and I decided to form a brand formally. I think initially there was no pressure in terms of earning money. We were just having fun. We were putting a lot of heart. Sales were just happening. Like just magically happening.
Wow.
Now the moment I decided to open an entity, get my trademark, rebrand myself, I took up a space, I started things, sales just dropped.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah. It
So when you
happens.
start to do it formally,
Yeah.
it doesn't work. Or I should rather say it actually kind of go into little slumber mode. But when you were doing it organically with all love, your
Yeah.
heart,
Yeah.
sales were happening magically, like you said.
Yeah, money was not even a question, like literally, I'm not kidding.
Like, give me a day.
So, like, for example, if my salary back then was, let's say, about $1 lakh a month, I would be earning more through the sales of my business just working from home. Yeah, way back
No
in
wonder you
2013.
decided to not say bye to the job. Even if I'm fascinated with you guys, I think I'm done with you.
So,
I'm done with the elephants and the chimpanzees in the jungle. Okay, good. Just joking.
yeah. Even the job
That's
was...
a good one. So basically, then you formed a LLC or a INC or whatever the corporation you did, and then that's when you realized this is the real business.
Yeah. And
So
I
what
think as
what
soon
was
as
the dip all about?
I think as soon as the pressure came in, we started taking it up. There was a lot of pressure now to have at least those many sales to be able to support the structure. And then, listing ourselves on, suddenly we realize, okay, we're now going to be listing ourselves on Amazon or Nikon, various
e-commerce platforms.
Now, suddenly, 40% they would just take immediately.
They'll take it
they'll
from
take
their
immediately.
aggregators. They want the brands.
Absolutely,
They'll just take the
absolutely.
higher margins away from you. But did you build a strategy? Okay, maybe 5 aggregators, 40% out. Let's take the 60%, and then let's just take the compounded interest, but then keep your original goodness intact, because I think that was your original trademark.
Yeah.
Versus the commerce going. I mean, this could be a built-up strategy to actually move forward. Why was there a dip there?
I think we now decided to take things up in a more formal manner. We went into a website. Now people who were just ordering offline on calls, on WhatsApps, now we were encouraging them, please go to the website, place an order. Yeah. I think that learning curve also people were not ready for. Maybe they thought, oh my God, they've become really commercial now. Whatever
Who's
the
going to go to
mindset
a website?
was.
Like auntie will say, like same the story I was just sharing. Who's going to go on a website, Baba? I don't know how to go on the website. Please, aap mujhe ye product de do. That's far more convenient.
That's true.
And the
That's
human
true.
touch, right?
Yeah, that was the
Me
human touch.
coming to you to buy something,
Yeah.
we don't really realize, but this is so good.
That
You know,
is
now
true.
we are on, and I'm the person who have designed the whole house online.
Yeah.
From start to finish, and it is convenient, especially if you're living abroad. You don't have time to go out, and I don't go to malls. It's just so much. It's so taxing sitting on a couch and on hundreds of websites and adding the cards from choosing is so convenient.
Absolutely.
And it's my best time pass. I mean, I'm watching Netflix, sipping Coke, and doing all this shopping. It's an event for me. But cut to the in-person shopping experience, it has its own charm.
Yeah.
And not the age group. I would love that too. I would love
True.
to a Banjara market or any good market in any place like a Sarojini Nagar market. That has another vibe
That has its-
altogether.
yeah, that's
You
true.
can't beat that fun. That's
No.
another stuff. So I think that is probably what happened.
Yeah. I think when you would come to, like, let's say my space, the way I would speak to you, the nuggets that I would share in terms
Yeah.
of, what I'm learning, how we are making all the macerations, what kind of oils we're using, all of that, I feel, could not translate very well to the technology that we were, like the website, Amazon, Nika, there was just no way to share that experience. And I think that's where a lot of our clients dropped back then. We could not understand, okay, what is it that we're doing? And we were struggling. We were really, really struggling. And so that's when I realized, actually, through a journey of an entrepreneur, you're going to face with so many challenges, and every step would kind of help you grow.
Yeah.
And let's say tomorrow I see my business, let's say for an example, like 100 crore business or 1,000 crore business. But the kind of entrepreneur that requires me to be, I'm not at that stage right now. So
That's a huge scale.
So I have to invest in myself,
Yes.
reach there, and then the business would
Yes.
also grow to that
Exactly.
scale.
Yes. I mean, absolutely. You have to become that person,
Yeah.
right? You have to become that personality, that brain,
Yeah.
to be able to function at 100 crore. And I think all of the D2C brands sleeps, eats, and breathes of being there. I've met a couple of them by now, and it's
That's
fascinating. See, that's where I extract my inspiration as well. And India is going in an amazing place, right? What Silicon Valley was going through in 2003 or 13, whatever the timeline, India is going through at that timeline. You're creating the new, I mean, right now, it's a running joke that you start your day with your Country Delights milk.
Yeah.
You can have delivery and, all through day for all your courier services. And then you can end the day with Swiggy and Zomato's dinner. And I've forgotten to skip lots of other startups. But then these startups have fundamentally invaded our daily lives.
Absolutely.
And changed the game. There's a 15% GDP for India coming from these companies.
Absolutely.
Amazing growth.
It's amazing.
And it's an amazing time. It will be foolish not to take use of this time and, not to do something nicely or something, which you can actually make money out of, and also just, try something new. So I'm this passionate soul that think all of this good but does nothing. When it comes to action, what have you done? Oh, I'm just talking. I just don't know. So that's where I am. And I'm sure there are a lot of other, I'm making a fun of myself because I know.
But maybe that's your gift of the gab. I mean, that's what you're selling. And
Yeah.
maybe you don't know what that could create for you.
Yeah.
As a podcast, as a storyteller,
Yeah.
you could earn much more than maybe like a service provider, somebody who's selling a product. Because what you're selling is this.
Yeah.
You just got to structure it in a way that
Yeah.
it becomes a way to
to serve stories.
Absolutely.
And like we
To
said,
add
story
value.
is such a huge power in itself. I mean, I never thought that this will be making money out of it. I'm still calling it as my passion project. See, I'm having fun. And maybe I can afford, knock on wood, to have a studio and have wonderful women come and we can have a chat and, I can create some stream out of it. It's also a luxury, and I have a gratitude attitude. I want to say thanks to the universe to be able to do all of this. I'm sure there is a God's plan behind this. We will all know. I mean, I don't know, like we can't watch forward, right? God can see it. So I'm just doing my karma, and I believe that it's very, very important to follow your passion. But I still would love to, dab a little bit into what you're doing, and let's see how it goes. Anyways, all right. So amazing, Radhika. I already have you can sense a lot of high energy for me. I mean, I already get excited and energetic when I talk about the entrepreneurship and ideas. There's a spark in me that lights up, and you can sense that. Taking that fire forward. I think, like we were talking about in the break, that, it's like a David and Goliath story, right? There are going to be so many Davids right now. There are unicorns already, like huge unicorns and huge brands with thousands of crores revenue already existing in country. But at the same time, we have so many smaller players coming in the beauty section, in the clothing section, in the clothing space, in terms of sustainability. what is this is doing is also somehow creating a shift that is, taking all of us into a better space of sustainability, in a better, just choosing better for ourselves in terms of health, in terms of eating healthy, in terms of wearing sustainable clothes. There's a climate change happening. There's, the plastic in whales the fishes are dying, all the plastic that's happening in water polluted. So there's a lot happening on the planet, but then all of these newer players like yourself are making more sustainable products. So how do we make beauty products, into that space, and how impactful is that? If you can tell us about that, that would be huge.
Sure. So I feel it's not just a trend or a fad anymore.
Yeah.
We are really going back to the basics.
Yes.
We are all of us together today. The consciousness is rising for everybody.
True.
We are looking at the labels of what we're consuming, what we're putting on our bodies, what we're putting inside our bodies. So I feel this wellness-centric lifestyle is here to stay. And as we progress, more and more such brands would keep emerging, because that is what the people are asking for.
Yeah.
So anybody who's got the pulse of the people would want to lap into the space and try and create offerings that are going to add value to people's lives. Now beauty space is very interesting, because traditionally it was just filled with a lot of chemicals. And then there came a point where people would just write, neem and aloe, or like two things on the label, which
Just to
would
keep it a little healthier.
It's got something natural.
But people are more smarter now. Like, what?
Yeah.
WTF? This is not healthy.
Now, when you look at the millennials, when you look at Gen Z, they're very aware. They're constantly looking at what is in it, and they're asking the right questions.
Nice.
So I feel even with FDA regulatory wise also, today we know that regulations are very stringent. You cannot make false claims. You cannot put misnomers. You can't.
Are they fining? Are they putting the checks and balances are there?
Absolutely, people are being fined.
Okay.
Left, right, center today.
Businesses are being fined
100%.
if they are doing some, fancy businesses. Yeah.
So earlier, most products were not FDA approved, for us also. Like, we started with one establishment, which is an FDA approved factory where we make our own products. And then we've licensed with 3 more actually now, where we have our own license and we're getting products made there.
Nice.
We have a bunch of formulators working with us, including me. And we're constantly working on, innovating and coming up with newer and more exciting products that deliver the value, which kind of, which are like either clinically tried or dermat tested, but they're going to surely deliver value to you. It's not like, okay, I bought this cream, but it's really not made any difference to me. That no longer works.
Good to know.
And, you can't just get away. I mean, you're going to fizzle out. So I personally believe that brands will constantly have to innovate, and the only way to kind of stay relevant is to constantly see, okay, how much more I can innovate, what more value can I add to the people's lives.
Value propositions.
Absolutely. That becomes very, very important.
Yeah, absolutely. But then how do you figure out that, when to start? I mean, I was just talking about it, right? I have this passion, all the fire instigated, but then what do I do with it? What do I do next? Where do I start? What is like the $1 million question? And even if I find out, like, how do I pave my way? That's one of the mission of M Stories as well. How do I pave the way for the good next couple of years? Okay, this is my sustainable path of creating a venture, creating this vision in my mind, good enough to get up in the morning every day and get to the work and, get something good out of it.
I think, like I said, there's no better way to say it, but you've got to start where you are, and you've got to stop comparing yourself to others. Because honestly, like, there's only one Radhika Dang in this entire universe. There's only one Anjali who's there in the entire universe.
One you,
right?
There is this one, there's this tagline of the Tira products. It's like a beauty products for every you. I I love that tagline because I'm a marketeer, so I always take a look at the tagline. Sorry to interject, but I love what you said. There's only one you.
Yeah.
That's true.
So what you can bring to the table, absolutely nobody else can. So you've got to first of all vest that trust in yourself. That
I love
okay,
it.
you know what I can bring, nobody else can. So I've got to find the rightness in what I am doing. And you got to keep building on that. And there's no point comparing yourself, okay, but this person launched 1 year back, but they're already a unicorn. Now, if I'm starting, how will I ever reach there? You know, those are all thoughts that you got to stay away from.
The limiting thoughts.
These are very limiting thoughts. You understand, anything that you build or manifest externally, it has to first happen in your own head. You've got to be convinced
has
that
to be now.
you're capable, you're worthy, and you are going to deliver that. Yeah. And then the path would keep showing. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but you know, if we look back at our lives, that's always how we've created anything in our lives. You know, you didn't know how to reach Silicon Valley. It's a dream job for maybe 99% of the people living on earth, but you reached there, right? You were one of the top people, one of the top marketing professionals there. How did you do that? Because you wanted to do it. You figured out a way to do it.
Yeah.
So, first up, believe that if this has come to you, you are equipped to do it. You're best placed to do it.
You're already there.
You're already
That's
there.
why you're talking about. That's why
Yeah.
you're pulsating at that vibration. I mean,
Yeah.
I was there. Now I'm back
Absolutely.
in India, and I'm now thinking from this perspective. I've been reading stories. People are leaving their jobs, and they're moving to India, and start up.
Yeah.
This is the time that's actually happening.
Yeah.
So it's amazing time, and doing something like this actually injects energy, like an energy shot into me to actually get more inspired. And of course, it's just also an effort to inspire people out there. Learn from this. Of course, I mean, I have to work to get this platform reach, to increase the reach as well. That's my work too. But amazing answers and amazing ideologies that you shared with us. Tell me more about Good Karma. How did you come up with a name? How is it going now? I mean, it's been 6 years since 2018. So you
Absolutely.
struggled to launch that transition from non-formal to formal, which is kind of okay. I mean, you were stepping into another space, which is okay. But then what happened after?
So Good Karma was the company name. The idea was to always, I do believe in the philosophy of karma, and
Me too.
And Good Karma was with with all the heart that we were putting in. The brand name was Wildflower, and Wildflower was the trademark, and it really inspired me because when you think about wildflowers, like each wildflower in nature is different and unique. And so each person is like that too. And the ideology was, what if we could just celebrate everyone without judgments, without making them fit a particular definition of beauty, a particular box of beauty.
Beautiful.
What would it be like if we could just make you feel special and, create products that would help you shine as your best self. So that was about Wildflower. And even our tagline was, in a world full of roses, be a wildflower.
Yeah, I
It's
like
okay.
it.
Like, stand out, be yourself, be
Yes.
unique, be authentic,
you.
be you.
Yeah.
You don't have to fit into a particular definition.
Nice.
So that was about Wildflower. And initially, when we started, I wanted to create something really personalized. So you know how you have a custom-made shoe or a custom-made jacket, create a product that is made for you.
But won't it be difficult? Creating a personalized beauty product for me? Like, how did you make that?
We did that for about 1.5 years.
How?
And then
who was the target audience?
Target audience was between 20 to 45 working professionals, people who have the ability to spend in tier 1, tier 2 cities,
Okay.
but are looking for something more interesting for their shampoos, for their products. But when we realized the entire subscription model and the personalization model was not feasible. Compliance wise, not feasible. Scalability, absolutely not feasible.
Got it.
Although there's a brand like that which got funded on Shark Tank. They
Which
also
one?
do Ravel.
Okay.
So I don't know how they're doing it.
Do you want to go on Shark Tank?
I did try for the first season.
Okay.
Second, I did not honestly try for at all. But the
Okay.
first season, I did try for.
You tried.
I did try.
Because I think, so were you there on the Shark Tank?
No, no, no.
Okay.
I
Because
didn't.
I've heard the stories. There's one guest who she'll be coming. She's Amrutam CEO, Stuti,
Right.
and she shares stories on LinkedIn. There's a humongous amount of work
Yeah.
that you have to do before you actually get to that show up story. I mean, I don't know if I have to say it crazy or whatever, but then it could be easier as well. It could be
Yeah.
easier to be there. I mean, at the end of the day, you're asking for money, right? So,
Absolutely. I think it's also more for that publicity because you're being featured on a national television platform,
yeah.
and so many people in one go would actually look at you, and then like.
it's a free marketing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I remember
It's
after
a
the
free
first
marketing,
season, I
people-
literally ordered every product that I was seeing just to try them.
And it's like for everybody, like we're talking about it. We are doing free word of mouth marketing for these products. Talking about marketing, how did you figure out the advertising or a marketing part of your business?
I think for us from day one, we were very sure that we don't want to burn money. We want to keep the product and the brand profitable because that's how I started. Literally,
Smart.
I started with like a less than 50,000 rupee corpus, and then I started the brand from my home many years back when it
Yeah.
was not even a brand. It was just like making products.
Yeah.
So the idea was to keep it profitable.
What was the price point?
Like I said, 300 to 400 rupees. That
Okay.
was the price point. And
What are the categories?
so we're into skincare, wash, rinse off products, moisturizers, face toners, mist, body scrubs, face packs, a lot of skincare products, hair care products as well, like
Nice.
hair oils, shampoos.
Which is
and
the
things
most
like that.
performing, like best performing one?
I would say our tea tree face mist won an award as well at the Conscious Beauty Awards. So that's definitely one of the top performing products. In India, we live in a very humid
Yeah.
weather.
The
and
tropical
yeah,
climate,
it's a tropical
yes.
climate. So it kind of keeps the excess sebum or the oil that our face manufactures, the skin manufactures, keeps that under control. And it
Nice,
also
I will try
controls-
that.
Yeah.
So it's a skincare product.
It's a skincare product, yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Even
for
our
sure.
body scrubs are very popular. There's one that we make with coconut milk and vanilla. That's also very, very popular.
Okay, it suits your skin. It's nice and fresh, refreshing.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Are you taking notes, guys? I mean, we are doing free marketing again. So great. So I think the marketing is a huge investment because you want to show up
Yeah.
at the right places. You need the right eyeballs.
Yeah.
So what exactly did you do? How much did you invest in there?
So we were doing things like pop-ups, sampling, email marketing,
All the organic stuff.
Yeah, mostly organic stuff, like making videos, sharing it through our network.
Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram. And I think anyone who's starting out, I'd like to tell you, like, because I was like that, I could not really tell you, please buy my product. Like I was not that kind of person at all. But I feel you've got to be a bit more blunt, you have to talk about your products.
Be out there.
Yeah, be more out there. I learned it like a little of the hard
This
way.
is what
and slowly
most of
over
the
time.
guests sitting here tells me that they tell us that one of my question is there, what leadership advice do you give to the budding women entrepreneurs? And that's what they say, that speak up,
Yeah.
be out there, show up.
Yeah.
Because we talk about this funding situation, right? People there are so much talent in
Yeah.
India, especially from women's perspective I'm speaking, and people get married, they have kids, they have ideas, but then they're sitting at home, they don't have that their boundaries, they don't push the boundaries enough, and then even if they do, they don't get funding, so they're kind of crutched somewhere. There's less.
I feel a lot of limitations.
Yeah.
And it's the things that we build in our heads.
Yes.
And I've seen people really crush limitations and push their own limits, and
Yes,
those are the
their
people
limiting
that have
beliefs.
really, really kind of inspired me, and
True.
I follow them.
Yeah.
Um,
And then obviously, I mean, when things are challenging, like you mentioned that it didn't work, when you
Yeah.
move to a entity, when things are not working, they're hard, they're not always going the wrong direction,
Yeah.
or you're not doing the wrong thing. You might be doing the right thing.
Yeah,
It gets
absolutely.
challenging.
Absolutely.
So it's important to keep the faith Keep it
Yeah, yeah,
trust
yeah.
and keep
Yeah.
doing it. Keep
Yeah.
at it
Yeah.
because you will get to the bay. You will get to the circadian rhythm of it in terms of so to speak.
Absolutely.
So that's one learning from the entrepreneurship perspective. I would love to understand your perspective of one thing. How do you define success or a failure?
How do I define success or failure? I think success for me is personally holistic. Like, I personally don't believe that you're very successful in your career, but you're failing in your personal relationships, and you're clocking, I don't know, crazy hundreds of crores of revenue, but you're failing with your health. I feel success is holistic. You've got to take your health, you've got to take your family, your relationships, your social life, business, most importantly, and it's got to be a sum total of all of
Yeah.
that. A lot of
And your
people.
self love. I
Oh,
think that's
that's
the
most
most
important. I
important.
think it just starts with that.
I think this is where
anything
it
starts with
starts.
that.
This is where
Yeah.
it starts
Yeah.
because I think if this is not who we are holistically, we show up in the world out there with our kids, with our families. If this is where the problem is, it just kind of
Nothing's going to give us
nothing's
joy.
gonna give us work back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I agree with that.
So I think that's success. And I think failure is if you're really going crazy in one direction and you're succeeding, but all other areas of life you're failing. I don't think that's the right benchmark for
Yeah.
success or the right yardstick for success.
Exactly. I mean, I was reading a reading. I was actually watching another podcast of Ranbir Kapoor with this with the Kamath guy, right? They have a podcast on in YouTube. What he shared about Amir Khan. I'm quoting the names because I think these are big names. Everybody knows
Yeah,
about Amir
yeah.
Khan and Ranbir Kapoor. So Ranbir Kapoor said that he must have met Amir in whatever last couple of months or years, and he's found that Amir Khan was crying.
Yeah.
He was not in a most joyous mood. So he said, what's wrong, what's happening? And he said, I've worked so hard in my life. I've created love and relationship with this audience, like yourself in the industry and my audience, but I did not do anything with my family and with my kids. So this man is now realizing when the kids are grown up,
Yeah.
and maybe he senses that distance now,
Yeah.
and the time is up.
Yeah.
He can't be a 5-year-old or whoever his kid is, or the girl or boy. I don't know what his kid is, but then him telling Ranbir that this is why he's crying or sobbing or whatever. Do you call that success? It's a difficult question because we all love Amir. I love Amir Khan. I'm not sure if this is going to reach you, but I really want to understand, while we are so busy, and this industry is also different.
Yeah.
Bollywood industry, where the shoots go so late and there's no day and night, it's a little different industry. And when the movies go for months,
Yeah.
and there's a research, and knowing him, and he has created like thousands crores of
Yeah.
money, and not just money, but not just money and wealth, but a name for himself for making a very successful and a message driven movies, a cinema, which is amazing. Not many people have
Yeah.
actually have
Yeah.
done that.
Yeah.
But cut to his family side, and I won't go into the divorces and the family stuff, because that might be edited. But he confessed himself, and somebody quoted that, so I'm quoting it, that he said, I did not give time to my kids.
Yeah.
I did not give enough time to my family because I was so engrossed in this world. Whether we call it success.
So that's such a thanks for sharing that. I think it's real food for thought for all of us who are hearing and probably watching as well. I think it may not matter what I think of him as success or not, but what matters most is what does he think.
Yeah.
And like you said, he thinks he's not successful. He feels like that,
Yeah.
right? So who am I to kind of question that?
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm personally a firm believer that, succeeding in just one area of life is not real success.
Yeah, because that's what you mentioned, right? I love that. Holistically, you need, if your things are coming together,
Yeah.
that's success.
Yeah,
Basically, you are
absolutely.
trying to, you're being able to live.
Yeah.
and keeping the balls in the air at the same time, and it's not falling. It's success, right?
Yeah.
So it's a right, perfect answer, but there are people like that, And the reason I asked that, sorry, hold that thought.
Yeah.
The reason I brought that analogy because entrepreneurship is also in a crazy space. You kind of lose, if you're really passionate soul, that you actually can lose yourself, and you can actually just work so hard. Like there was a whole debate going online from Mr. Murthy. I've worked for Infosys as well, like 70 hours per week, and then the Ola CEO Bhavesh jumps in. There's a whole debate going on that and there are lots of people saying, what is this going on? We're talking about work-life balance here. We're trying to be international and developed country by 2035, and we're talking 70 hours a week. Like, we're talking two different things, right? So, based on all of this data points and based on all what are the heads, the brightest heads of our country are thinking, I feel entrepreneurship can take a lot from you.
Yeah.
If you're really a good, if you have a good disruptive idea and you give your 6 years, 10 years of your life, but then what about people around you? So that's why I brought this.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So thanks for asking that question. I think that's very important for me because I keep constantly, I keep that check on myself, as well, that am I happy? Who am I doing this for? Is it creating happiness for me? And so I'd like to quote this with an anecdote. So last year, our business took a huge dip. Last year, we did fabulously well.
Define huge dip. I'm left brain, add numbers.
So let's say last year, we closed the year at 100% growth rate. But last year, we again dipped to half of that.
50%.
Yeah, 50%. So, and the thing was that it was shattering because we're putting in so much effort and we were feeling bad.
No, it's
but at the same time, I remember most days I would come back and I would be laughing and I'd be like, oh my God, what am I doing here and what can I do differently? Because I was putting in so much effort. I was so satisfied. There was not one bone in me that felt like I'm not doing enough or I'm not being enough. I just realized that sometimes you win and sometimes you don't. And this time I'm not winning. It's not my stride, but it's okay.
But your effort is 100%.
Yeah, my effort was
your
1000%.
gratification is there. So it is not converting into a number.
Yeah.
Doesn't equate to being a failure or happiness.
Or happiness. Because I can tell you, mentally, I was still a lot at peace. Like when I look back at my mental space, it was not compromised. I was still happy. I was satisfied that I'm putting in my 100% and I'm doing the best that I can do at this point.
I think you're one of the key, one key maker for an entrepreneur. You're like one nice, what do you call that? You use that, I'm skipping that name, but you use those shields or you for the soap making and, right shield for being an entrepreneur because you're so... self-contained, you have the right anecdotes in your mind, you're level-headed, so you're right made for a thing like an entrepreneurship because you really need that muscle to flex, if things are not working your way but you're actually at peace. Numbers are not working, but you're actually working hard, and you see through your work, your hard work, and you see that it's bringing your happiness. You're satisfied. So what? It's getting down to 50%. So not everybody can do that.
Yeah, and some of the things that come to my mind, if you remember, like when the owner of CCD committed suicide, it was so sad because he was under massive losses. But then it's lesser told that his wife, in less than 2 years, she was not even running the business. She took it up as a challenge, and within a few years she turned the story around completely and doubled the revenue and got him out of all the debts. So I'm just saying it's because
but he committed already.
After he passed away. But I'm just saying so what did she have? She was not even in the business, right?
Mindset.
Yeah, it's the mindset.
That's what I'm saying. You're like a mold. I got the name now. You got the perfect mold for being an entrepreneur. I got the name right now. I got the adjective, whatever word right. So I think amazing. This is an amazing energy to discuss, and to like I was just quoting one of these quotes from Simone Biles. She's a gold medalist for the seventh time in Olympics gymnast, that you will not always be strong, but you can always be brave. It's
Yeah.
actually very beautiful, because we don't
Wow.
show up strong every day.
Yeah.
You have your own days, especially women with all different reasons.
Yeah.
But the grit and determination and the brevity, you can be always brave. Why not?
Why not?
Difference between being strong every day and being brave. And such an encouraging quote,
So
to
powerful.
really
So
think about.
powerful.
So powerful.
So
It actually
powerful.
makes you think that in different situations, even if you're not strong in this situation, you can be brave enough to deal
Yeah.
with it. So it's so important to learn these things as, the Olympics is happening, and as the
I think we just spoke about the courage to show up every day.
yeah,
It's
huge.
just that.
Showing
it's
up
huge.
is half the job done.
Yeah, it's
Like
just the courage to show up every day.
even for the regular stuff like working out in gym,
Yeah.
showing up is half the job.
Absolutely.
It's so hard to
Absolutely.
show up every single day, consistency, everything. So yeah, all of this, we all know this.
We all know
It's just that doing it every
just
thing,
practicing that.
it's really important. So great, Radhika. I think this is a fantastic podcast. I'm having a ball just, talking with you on so many topics and learning at the same time.
Likewise.
So I'm sure you mentioned that there was a journey, right? It's like you kind of put into an entity, and then you realize that it's not going well, and then picked things back up again. So tell us about the journey in terms of how it hit the COVID, right? Because that's when most of the businesses struggled.
Yeah.
So what was your story?
Sure. So I think one thing that I was very clear about was that, okay, we've got to keep figuring out what will work, and something would, like booking.com, if the website, the
Yes.
CEO and their philosophy really really inspires me, because they started really small. They were not funded. Today, of course, they're clocking billions of dollars of revenue, but they appointed a chief experimentation officer, because they said, invention can't happen till the time you don't fail. So you got to keep trying, keep failing, until sometimes then something right would happen, and that would kind of help you pivot.
Love it.
So for us, actually, when COVID hit, most D2C businesses were like, okay, they're on the verge of shutdown, zero sales. How do you do that? Especially for a beauty business. Completely collapsed. At that time, I think we thought of getting into natural hand washes, which was sulfate free, and we were using some
Nice.
tea tree oil, also eucalyptus oil, using coconut based surfactants, and we got into sanitizers as well,
Nice.
which were also, with like interesting things in them, aloe, bee propolis, which would also have natural bacteria killing properties, other than the WHO guidelines, which was 70% alcohol. So we, with just these two things, I think we really turned the fortunes around, and
Nice.
and we just completely scaled from there, pivoted from there, and that led us to set up a bigger factory. And then from one, now we have like 3 factories, and then we're making products for our brand Wildflower Naturals, but we're also manufacturing for about 50 other brands in India and some American multinationals.
That's great.
So like one move kind of really helped us.
You helped us make your mark,
Yeah.
because otherwise you were struggling what to do now in the COVID.
Absolutely.
But with the COVID also, right? People are in a house arrest situation, but the online was working.
Online was working. Actually, we got some orders from the Indian Army. I remember I was taking like these 3 trucks full of hand washes, and literally my heart was in my mouth, because we didn't have the VVIP, like the pass that could help you travel, and the entire Delhi, it was like deserted, not
Wow,
a
yeah.
single car. And and then we delivered that order, went fabulously well, super smooth, and that
Nice.
kind of gave us the corpus to then invest furthermore into
Yeah.
other projects and
Yeah.
things like that.
Awesome. Great story. So now we move into the last section of our podcast, Radhika. Amazing discussion. I asked these questions, and just 2 or 3 questions consistently to everybody, because I can then map it out, right? What are the sources of learning on this journey, right? This is a good data point. So I call it empowering the women entrepreneurs, and also the paving the way, for the budding entrepreneurs and in the category. So Are there any programs that you're aware of, or you must have actually attended, or a personalized leadership coaching, or networking meets, or groups that you think were the key to, inspiring you to be what you're doing right now?
So the D2C accelerator that happens in Bombay every year is amazing. It's held by the Images Group. For people in the beauty space, the Beauty Innovation Conference that happens every year in Bombay again is an amazing platform to learn and to grow. For beauty space people, Cosmo Home Tech, absolutely amazing, happens in Pragati Maidan. Cosmo Prof that happens in Mumbai. At the NMAC last year it happened. So, these are some of the platforms that you could learn from. Farmexcel, a government-led organization, they keep conferences every year where they talk about, export and import and how you can actually create a market overseas as well.
Great.
So these are some of the places that I found extremely helpful. And
you network people, right?
and
You
you
meet
network,
people,
yeah,
you
yeah.
meet people off, and you get your customers as well. So it's both ways, right?
Absolutely.
So, what one leadership advice you would give for the aspiring women entrepreneurs in terms of who really have the idea, myself as well, and then they just need that push or that gravity to get to the next stage?
I just want to tell you that you've got it all and just do it, like Nike, like literally just do it. Like, don't think so much.
Nike, that's right.
And of course, there are going to be learnings, and just be prepared to, I won't say fail, but be prepared to have those learning curves.
Yeah.
Because there's not going to be one plan that you're going to etch out on paper and then feel that this is exactly how things are going to happen, and
True.
and then the company would become whatever the vision that you have for the company.
Yeah.
So yeah, be kind of fearless, be out there, and if you've decided and if you've put your mind to it, then realize that come what may, you're going to make this happen. It's like, how kids are. Nobody ever tells a kid, you will not be able to ride a bicycle. Some kids learn it early, some kids fall 500 times, and then but they all learn. So if you've taken this up as your journey, you will get there.
Yeah.
There's no reason why you won't get there.
So basically, resilience, just be at it and you'll make it. Awesome. Great. On that note, let's just pivot to the fun. Some fun stuff. So we'll just do some quick check-ins in terms of, your vacation spots, some quick rapid fire questions in terms of just to get to know you a little bit more. Ready?
Yes.
All right, let's bring it on. So your favorite vacation spot?
I think favorite would be difficult because I like to go to a different spot every
time
and not really repeat.
But which one was the best in the last five vacation spots?
So I've visited more than 40 countries because I'm like a huge travel buff.
Me too, yeah.
The last one that I went, this was after my marriage. I went with my husband to Maldives, and I think that was like just something else.
Nice.
Like the breeze was just perfect, and
Yes.
you could just be with the sea and under the sea.
And I
so
love the color
peaceful.
as well up there.
Yeah, it's like all blue.
It's a very turquoise color.
It's
The color
all
of Maldives
turquoise.
is very different as opposed to the other, and I went there as well.
Maldives
Amazing.
is just
Yeah.
something else.
Beautiful.
It was beautiful.
Favorite food?
Favorite food? It's really boring, but I love a good salad.
Oh, really? No, I think it's good. People, I mean,
think I
having
love,
a good salad is really
arugula and like avocado and a nice honey mustard dressing. I love a good salad.
very good. Fun. Favorite beauty brand?
This would have to be Forest Essentials. I think I also read Miss Meera Kulkarni's autobiography. Extremely inspiring, huge fan of her work, and I think she's really built that brand with a lot of heart. Like it's been all heart, and like her struggle has been like uphill like that.
Yeah.
But today when you see the brand, it's literally everywhere around the world. So huge fan of her work and a lot of respect for her.
That brings me to the next question. Who is your idol?
So I think idol I would not say, but another woman who really inspires me is Coco Chanel. I saw a movie called Coco Before Chanel many years back, and such an amazing story of her, and how she started from a small village in France, in a province, then came to America, just being confident, and she was sort of seeing someone, but she said, okay, I'm not going to get married because she knew that that would not,
Focus.
yeah, that would derail her from her journey completely. She decided, and then when she was just about to get funding from that person, he died in a car crash, and she was in another country. And then, I mean, it's just the story of that resilience of like deciding that this is what I'm going to do, and also being so avant-garde in her approach. You know, at that time women would wear corsets and really long skirts. She said, no, let's make them comfortable. Let's give women pants.
Yeah.
Pants were not really worn by women at all. And then she said, okay, like, you know, let's give them short dresses.
Yeah.
Again, something that women would never wear.
Yeah.
She came from France, so a lot of hookers would wear that, but
Yes.
you know, women in the real society would not.
Yes.
So she was quite the trailblazer. She brought comfort and oomph and freedom of thought and spirit.
Nice.
And so in that way, I think she was amazing.
Amazing. That's amazing. Amazing idol to follow. What's your favorite series you recently watched on OTT?
So recently, I think I watched. What did I see? So of course, Bridgerton was really nice. Hanuman, excellent. Like, there was an animation series. Absolutely loved it. The storytelling was beautiful.
Great. And then your favorite hangout place in Delhi?
They keep changing, but most recently I went to April by K. I live in GK2, and
April? By
April by K.
I've heard this name.
And they like make the best, like the best stuff. Everything on the menu is amazing, and it's literally like a whole, like, it's so non-assuming. There's a little door, you don't even think there's going to be a restaurant. You open and there's like an entire restaurant.
Wow.
So
amazing.
yeah,
You're already marketing your restaurant, so if you're listening, please come to me for the royalty. All right. This was a fun-packed episode. Thank you so much, Radhika. This was your lovely, you know, your personality is so infectious. Your smile is infectious. And the whole episode, the energy exchange was amazing. I think I really had fun. I hope you had a good time as well.
Thank you so much for having me over.
Absolutely.
And you're so vibrant. And
Yes.
all the best for the podcast. And
Thank you.
I really hope it reaches new heights and everyone gets to watch it.
Thank you so much. I hope that stays true as well, that actually happens. So thank you again, and thanks for watching, and keep watching us. I'm going to be back with another topic which is of importance in the society, and of course a new trailblazer sitting here talking about that. So thank you for watching Fem Stories, and thank you again, Radhika.
Thank you.